Hello.
Dr. Conti, it looks like you might be a little frozen here.
Am I frozen now? Still
Yeah,
frozen?
yes.
Oh wow, it's moving on
Okay.
my end. It's moving on
Hi.
my end. Am I moving now?
Yes, you are here with us, and welcome to Dating Differently with Demi, and
Dr. Conti.
excited to be here tonight. So how's your dating going?
Ah,
Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it tonight. You all know that Conti and I have combined our expertise to create a strategic roadmap that helps you first prepare for healthy love so you can confidently choose with clarity and sustain the right relationship. So let's talk about how our dating's going. How's it going, Conti?
actually, I'm enjoying dating. It's one of those things that you meet people, you do your meet and greet, you just feel like this is going to be something that's going to go the next day. One of the things that you and I always tease about, and I actually uh, took your lead on this. It was after the first date, do you want to have another one? After the second date, do you want to have another one? After the call, do I want to talk to him again?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those things that you just kind of see if this is something you want to continue. And we're all adults. And if it turns out that it's not, then it's not. But, right now I'm having a great time and I hope it keeps going the way it's going.
I'm glad. I see hi to everybody that's joined us tonight. But I see Pamela says she's given up. We don't want you
Okay.
to give up.
All right. Good talk. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
it,
Last week we did talk about burnout.
yeah,
So, Pamela, please go back and listen to that one because we do all get burnt out. And if you don't mind, let me really quickly go into this real quick while it's on my mind
okay.
because I almost, I was doing the dating online, and after the last dating person, I'm like, mm, I'm not doing this. I told Demi, I'm like, I'm getting back into. Most of y'all know I'm a businesswoman, and it's easy for me to get into work. So I said, you know what? If it happens, it happens. And as she says, what is it, Demi? You said I am a
You're
casual
passively kind
passive.
of dating.
She said I'm a passive dater. And what that means is I which comes to the question and what you learn. What that means is I've learned that if it's happening and it's going great, then fine. And if it's not, I still have a lovely life and I can keep it moving. So yeah, yeah.
And that's funny when you said that because, we used to talk about when do you start again after you've gotten out of a long term relationship, after you've gotten out of a marriage for 20 plus 30 years. Um, you know, when do you start over now that you have an empty nester? Maybe you've been single, but not dating. When's the time you really get started? But I get it. I made a decision a long time ago, or last year, or yeah, I think it was last year, that I wanted to be actively dating
Yeah,
to
you did.
try to make it happen. Try to make it happen. And I told Conti tonight I had my list
I'm
because
not pulling up mine. I'm pulling up my list.
most, I said, okay, it took me to 22 to make it happen. And there were a few of them that I thought, yeah, after that one, I don't need to be out here. But I think part of it was because I started too quick. I think I got out of a marriage and, you know, not consciously, but subconsciously in your head, even if you were the one to make the decision, you kind of almost feel like I need to show the world or prove to myself that I'm desired or that I can make something work. And I
Hmm.
think that was part of why I almost just said, never mind, because I just went too fast.
Hmm.
I went too fast in it.
And like we said last week, you get burnt out. It's like You don't want to start all over. You don't want to, like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
Is this going to be somebody that's wasting my time? But I am glad I did, and you may have to take a break,
Yeah.
and that's nothing wrong with that. You can be actively as Demi was, or as passive as I am sometimes. But I'm glad I didn't take too long of a break, because the longer you take, the hardest to get back out there.
It
and
is.
and we were just talking, had I taken a longer break, I probably wouldn't be as excited about dating right now, because I would have just got into work and I wouldn't have gotten back into it, So it's one of those things that you just have to decide, okay, what feels good for you.
Yeah. I mean, some of it has to do with, I think for me, I got too emotionally involved too quickly. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you just said I'm one of the people that I say, now as the lessons learned, right, as I went on and showing myself grace because I was new in it, I was fresh meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I had to say, um, hey, if I like you enough to talk to you tomorrow, like you said, or do I like you enough that I even want to meet you? Do I want to go on a first date or a second date? And I just kind of went that day by day by day, really slow. I think it wasn't until I got to maybe that 30th day or 45th day that I felt like, okay, this person is going to get my full attention or
Right.
not.
Right.
I knew after one conversation, we always talk about, these things, but I remember talking to someone and it was probably about 45 minutes. Now, he's not on my list of 22. I only have people that I actually met, but I remember talking to him. What an interesting conversation. And maybe the last 15 minutes of the 45 minutes, I finally said, "Well, do you have children?" I don't always talk about that
Right away.
interview kind of stuff right away,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I remember him saying, "Yeah, I have like a 2-year-old or a
Ah,
3-year-old." And
pull my no button.
I think I was so frustrated, maybe because I was anxious to make it happen, not with him, but just in general,
Right.
that I actually told him, you could have told me that like in the first 10 minutes of the call, and then we wouldn't have talked for 45 minutes." I mean,
Right.
I literally said it. And that
Mm-hmm.
probably wasn't nice or kind, but I did.
Well, and like we said last week too, you want to give up when, see, a lot of times we make the same choices, unhealthy choices. And then it's like, I asked a lady, I met someone over the weekend, and she's getting married. She met someone, I told you about her, Demi. She
Yeah,
met someone, and 9 months later, he asked her, they got engaged. And then 9 months later from that, which will be next month, they will be having their wedding.
yeah.
And she's super excited. And she said, it wasn't until I learned to date differently. And I said, I have a podcast called Dating Differently.
Familiar. That sounds familiar.
And she said, but it wasn't until I learned to date differently that I got that person who is my person. She says, because I dated more than one. She said, I didn't get too involved too quickly. When I found the one that was being consistent, that was being committed, that didn't have any baggage, that wasn't married, wasn't, crazy, once it, after getting to know the person, and I decided, okay, look, I'm going, like you said, I'm going to give this one my full attention. She
Yeah.
said it just went there. She said, but it took me learning to change my behaviors that was causing me to be so sick of dating. And I said, girl, I might need to bring you on as a guest, because you said a whole mouthful right there. After
Well,
you said about six of our sessions, our podcast in one little whole whop,
yes. But I want to say, because when she was talking about dating numerous people, it wasn't dating. We use that term.
Yes.
It's real loose. It just means I may be talking, getting to know several people at a time. Just
Yes.
talking, getting to know them.
Yes. When we say dating, that's what we mean, gathering information. But once you really find the person you feel like has, like Demi just said, when you've talked to somebody and you find that they have a 2-year-old and you have grown people, and you know that's not who you want to be with, then you're not talking to them anymore. You've gathered enough information to move to the next person that you want to talk to or meet. So a lot of times we again, and not getting so emotionally involved so quickly until you get to know people.
Yeah.
Another one of Demi's favorite sayings is, "You're strangers."
They're strangers.
Unless you are spinning the block. Unless you're spinning the block, and then I don't believe in spinning the block, because you left for a reason. They weren't working back then, so I don't believe in spinning the block. But sometimes, other than that, they're strangers. So you have to take your time to get to know people.
And no, you guys, I have nothing against children. I love children, okay? But it is just one of my non-negotiables. So Edmund, yes, it is your turn now to
yes, 14 years. Let's read some comments over here. Let me pull that one up. We're gonna pull that one up for Edmund for people to see exactly what you said.
Yeah.
I have been a single parent for 14 years, and I have not dated anyone. My daughters were 6 and 8 when me and their mother split up, and now they're 22 and 20. Maybe I can start thinking about myself now. Yes, you can. And for the single women over here, Edmund's got a very nice profile picture. We might start our a little own dating site here. But yes, it is time, Edmund.
So I would say a shout out. Hi, Mimi. Hi, Latasha. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dr. Smith. Hi, Pam and Tremaine. Hi, everybody. So thanks for joining us always. Our regular.
Hi, Latasha, too. I've invited you several times. Great to see you popping on here.
But it is, I want to go back to, because I think you were talking about something when you said you get out there and you start dating and being with something that is, that you think is comfortable, but it's really just familiar.
Yes.
Familiar,
I always say, usually it's not necessarily a good thing. When it's too familiar, that means you're going back to stuff that you're used to. And to get to date differently and get something different, you have to do different. And so when you do different, it's not going to be familiar. And sometimes it's not going to even be comfortable. But I always say, if you're too comfortable, you're not growing.
It isn't comfortable. And it's kind of like, I remember once I became single, I was still going to Costco. You guys know Costco wholesale. And I was filling up my refrigerator, thinking like I had a full family. And then 2 weeks later, most of it would be spoiled. And so I had to start new habits and doing something that was completely uncomfortable for me, and just kind of meal prepping and doing those different things. So I think it's kind of the same way. And that's why I always say it's a good ideal, and we talk about this all the time and coach it, to give yourself time to just be single. You may feel like, you know what, I got out of it, this is what I wanted, but give yourself time to find out who you are, to start feeling, how does it feel just to be by myself?
Right.
I know we've talked about that with someone else. They learned how to just do things alone.
Yeah, not Edmund time though, not 14 years time.
Oh, but that's what I would say. It just takes time. But I think I learned a lot as from 1 to 22, just the lessons, and then talking to the people in between. There were so many things that I learned. I learned that, I thought at our age, and I know everyone says at our big age, that people are honest, and they're not. They'll say whatever it is that they think you want to hear to get what they want sometimes.
Yeah, they're not honest.
So that was really, I don't know, that took me back a minute when I met people like that.
Yeah, not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. We've talked about so much before, and a lot of times though, it's not even about what they say. It's about what you decided ahead of time you want and need. But if they're not being honest with you, then it makes you decide on someone based on falsehood or a lie. But that's also why you have to take your time, because I just think, you know, a duck that's a duck will start quacking after a while.
You know, when once you get it and it clicks, and you know, from the experience and you know, from clinical teaching and just going through classes, once you get it and it clicks, it really does. You
Mhm.
see, pretty early on, I was having a conversation as I was walking, hadn't met the person yet, and most of you know I did a lot of mine online dating apps, and I don't care what people say, what dating app, there's no app that's better than the other. The people are the same. It's you, and you have to, you know, learn how to work through those lessons in dating. But I remember walking and talking, and I just spoke to somebody that was walking past me. You see the same folks all the time, and I remember the guy on the other line said, "Did you just speak to another man?"
Ooh, child.
That was a ding, ding, ding for me. I knew immediately that was my conversation got short. And I said,
Yes.
you know what? This is a guy that's going to be controlling.
Yes, because you're on the phone with somebody that you haven't even met yet, talking in a new conversation, and he hears you talking to somebody else and asks you, did you just speak to another guy? These are things that I'm saying we have to really be mindful of. We really have to be mindful of. I was talking to someone today about a friend of mine who, bless his soul, he passed away early this year. And his wife, he and his wife, like, you could see the love. You could see the love. You could hear the love. Even like the man that I talked to you about, that I was seeing in the park. Never met his wife until like a couple years later. But I felt like I knew her because he would talk about her. And just in conversation, oh, your dog is so trained. Yeah, my wife said I needed to. You know, it was always like, if he made it known, you can hear the love, you can hear the value, you can hear the desire. And I always say, you can be desired by somebody.
Yeah.
But what are they desiring you for? Are they desiring you to be, you know, come pay their bills? Or they desiring you because for sexual reason? But desire without value and without love, that you know, it doesn't, I don't want it. So finding out what it is that you're looking for when you're dating, and is this person and you on the same page? It was a beautiful thing for me when I see couples, and particularly the men who express how much they love their wives, and you see it and you can feel it.
Yeah. It is. It's pretty special, and I think,
Mhm.
you know, we can see it in a lot of different relationships. I was
Mhm.
blessed to see it with my mother and father all of their lives.
Mhm.
So it is pretty special. But it was one of the things that I know I've shared before, and we've talked about. Sometimes people do all the things that seem like you're in a relationship,
Mhm.
and they even say that you are,
Mhm.
but you're not.
Mhm.
You're
Well, one of the things that you say a lot too, Demi, that I love is, and when we talk about what have you learned in dating, this
Yeah.
is one of the things that I've learned, and we've talked about it. People will say they are committed to you,
Mhm.
but it is important that you ask, well, what are you committed to? Because
Exactly.
what my commitment may be different from what your commitment may
You
be.
see how much we know each other, because she knew exactly where I was going with that, right? She knew exactly where I was going
That's what
because
you say. Like, well, what was
once
he committing to? Because that ain't what I was committing to.
and the word I was gonna use is, you know, are we exclusive? Yes, we're exclusive. Okay. You know, I'm one that people tell you I ask a lot of questions. What does exclusivity mean to you? I've had someone share that exclusivity is what it is, but if something else is happening over here and it's transactional, then I'm still exclusive with you. I just paid for that.
Yeah.
And so you really have to know, because people have
Mhm.
different mindsets.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Different mindsets.
That's right. Thank you so much, Tiffany. My niece is on here. She says, I want to have the same kind of beauty that you two have. I want to be like, look ageless when I get to your age. Okay, great. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you for the compliments. But so what have you learned? What have you guys learned during your dating process? If you've started out dating, if you're empty nesters, if you are a widower, or if you're a second time arounder, or if you're a divorcee, tonight we're just doing just a let's talk about it. Like what have you learned? What have you figured out about yourself that you didn't expect or didn't know now that you're out here trying this dating process in this new age? You know, everything's a little bit new here sometimes out in the dating world. So,
yep. I always say dating in 1986 is not like 2026. And Edmund said he's been on a few outings. That's what he called them, outings, but he wouldn't call them dates.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, outings work out. Mm-hmm.
I like that. Yeah, I would say the meet and greets. I'm meeting people, I'm greeting them, I'm hanging around, you know, I'm seeing what I see. Mm-hmm. Did we say hi to Todd? Todd, thanks for joining us tonight too.
Hello. Yes. So, what have y'all learned? Good evening, Paula. We've got a lot of people popping on. Yeah. Good evening.
So I'd say one of the things, I'll start first. One of the things, many things I've learned is the difference between being kind and nice. Mm-hmm. I think I was so nice. And I also am a person that when I go into a room, I'm always looking for the person that maybe is a little shyer, maybe kind of not in that in circle, maybe that looks like, you know, maybe they're more of an introvert, because I always say that I am. Most people, you know, you know me, I am. And so sometimes when that transfers over to dating, you find people that you feel like, but nobody loves them. And I'll take care of them. And I'll love them, you know, but it doesn't work that way. And then being kind and nice, you know, it's when you have that conversation with someone and they're saying, well, let's meet, and being kind to say, I don't think this is a good match. Right. Or even after you've met for the first time, if they want to ask you out again, you just say, no, I don't think this is a good match. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And not worrying about hurting their feelings.
Right. Good evening, Zena. You know, I've learned to not read into things.
That's a good one.
You know, sometimes it is exactly what they say it is. No more or no less.
Yeah.
Don't read into it. Don't make it like, wow, what did that mean? Did that mean, you know, and you go down the rabbit hole of what you think something means. Or they don't say much of nothing, and then you create in your mind what you think that might mean. So, you know, I've just learned to kind of take things face value. If it's something you know, if it's something I need to know, then I'm going to ask to get clarification. But other than that, I'm just going to take it for what it is. And, you know, I'm a communicator. You know, I really do like communicating so that I'm not confused. But if I don't have a reason to be confused and everything is lining up, then that's just what it is. Sometimes we kind of get all in our heads and want to overthink things. And I've learned just it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And when they tell you believe them, I know
when they tell you believe them.
I know you've heard it before. When
good or bad.
Good or bad. When I asked him, you know, how many people think they're in a relationship with you? And he said 3, but 2 of them are delusional. Huh? Why are you sitting here with me?
Yeah.
I didn't ask that question, but in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not going to work.
And another good thing is, are you in a relationship? And then they go, oh, no, I'm not in a relationship. And then I go, well, is there anybody that think they're in a relationship with you?
That part. And when he says, well, 3 of them, but 2 are delusional. Interesting. Dr. Smith said, I've learned that taking things slow does make the experience better. I'm enjoying the journey rather than focusing on the destination.
That's right. You know, my saying is slow is the new sexy. Slow is the new sexy. Enjoy it. Get to smell the roses, and take your time. Let it build it organically if it's going to, and and then enjoy it. Yeah, slow is the new sexy. Now, again, you at a certain age, you're not trying to date somebody for 5 years, but you're not trying to marry somebody in 5 months either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Mel. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm so cautious of hearing organic because I've heard that one too.
Yeah, we have had a debate about that word. We look at organic
But
differently.
well, what are we doing here? Oh, let's just, we want to we want it to be organic. Let's see where this goes. Huh?
No, that's not what I mean. Organic mean. Well, I got to look up my. I'm not talking about one of those. What did I say? I wrote it down. One of those that it's a touch and go. Maybe so. I'll let you know. Not one of those kind of organic. Well, I'll let you know. Touch and go. What we got going on here? We'll see. I always say, would you get on an airplane and the pilot says, "Hey, welcome to United or welcome to Delta. Sit back, relax, and have a good time. We don't know where we're going yet, but I'll let you know when we get there."
Uh,
You want to know where you're going. You want to have some clarity. So when I say organically, I don't mean that. I mean that you're taking your time and you're letting things naturally build if they're going to.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
Meaning they're strangers, and do I want to talk to them tomorrow? Do I want to know more about them tomorrow? I
Yeah,
get
that part. Let's see. Tish says, I've learned not to take it serious. That's right. And to pay more attention to their actions and let it build naturally. That is the
that's
key.
it.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. You get a cheer button, girl. I don't have none of my buttons out here in front of me. But yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I
But
love
know what you want, right?
it.
Know what you want. Because if you don't know, they'll know for you.
Yes. And if you know what you want and you're dating something that's never going to get you there, you will get the burnout, like we talked about last week.
Yeah.
You'll get the burnout.
I have my list here, because I was ready for some stories.
All right, well, give me a story. Let me see. Let me think about one of your stories that I like. Let me think. Yeah, Demi got some stories. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know which one of my stories you like.
I remember meeting someone around my birthday. I don't think I've ever talked about this one. It was
Okay.
around my birthday. We had a pretty nice dinner.
Oh yes, I do. You haven't talked about him online, but yes, I remember him.
Haven't. Is this PG-13 or is
Yeah. Well, go on, girl. We all grown. Go on, tell me the story.
No, I remember having a pretty nice dinner. I was like thinking about, the next day I was out golfing and he sent me a text and said, I really want to take you out for your birthday. I really want to do this because, of course, I was golfing on my birthday with friends. And he sent me this text and I call him Nudie. That's what I call him. Okay. And the text, he sends this photo of himself that says, I want to seduce you. That's what you get done on your birthday. And I'm like, did I just meet you yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
He had the nerve to send me the picture.
It wasn't full.
He sent me this.
It wasn't full. It was the chest.
Yeah, and I said, block, delete.
Yeah.
Delete, block, and keep it moving. Because if they're taking you out on a second meet and greet or date, and they're sending you pictures
of their chest. It was their chest. I need to be exact.
Yeah, it was their chest, but it went very low down, maybe even to the stomach below. But it stopped at a certain point for you to leave it to your imagination that you could tell that the person was nude. Either way, it was way too much for you to be sending somebody, and it was disrespectful. So some people would have maybe maybe laughed that off or still gone on a date. But what message are you sending? We already see the message he's sending.
Right.
But what message would you be sending if you actually went out on a date with this person?
Yeah. So that was a no. That was a no. So a lot of interesting characters, and that's what you talk about being nice. That was a particular person that I said I didn't even need to respond. I didn't send my nice or kind text where I don't think this is a good match. I just blocked I just blocked and then I deleted.
Yeah.
Just deleted everything. You're laughing. She know I got him, but I'm happy when I met we I guess we may be out of time, but I met
Okay,
20.
we got a minute or so.
I remember Conti asking me, "Do you even like him? Do you even like him?" And I said, "Yeah, I mean, yeah."
When she met number 22.
22 is the man, okay?
Yeah.
But when I met 22, she would ask me all the time, "Do you even like him? Do you like him?" And I would just say, I like him. I want to get to know more about him tomorrow. I want to know more about him tomorrow." So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the thing. If you meet somebody and each time you meet or every time you talk, if you still feel, excited or even calm, not even excited, because to me, sometimes excitement is a way too much. But if you feel calm and your nervous system is good and your little spidey sensors aren't going off, or you're enjoying the time and they're enjoying your time, then yeah, see them again. It's as simple as that. If something starts to go right, don't see them again. It's as simple as that. And I think we're all grown and adults, and I don't think anybody wants to be led on, and nobody wants to be taken for granted or taken advantage. And if you start feeling like, it's not working, then it's not working.
Even if they're a nice person. And I have to add when I say 22 is the man, because we're 14 months down the line. Oh, over a year, 14 months down the line. So every day I still like talking to him. I still like getting to know more
So
about
it
him.
does work, you all. So far, so good.
Yeah. So hey, we still like talking and we still like getting to know each other.
And I really like it. I really like it. he got 2 thumbs up from me.
Yeah, me too.
All right, you all. This was fun. We've enjoyed talking to you all. And as usual, please come back next week and invite some friends. We may just do a free fall again next week. So, and then make sure that you all send us some topics and titles. If you want something that you want us to talk about, please do. And then for the last couple of weeks, I keep forgetting to say this. I've had several people ask me about my cup. You guys always see me drinking. And yes, it is a Dating Differently cup. On one side, it has us as cartoon characters, and the other side, it has us, our real actual pictures. Yes, you can have one if you want one. They are for sale. Let me know, inbox us, and we will definitely make sure we order one for you.
And if this conversation spoke to you, be sure to follow us on our Dating Differently Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us both on social media platforms, and then join us next week as we continue giving strategies. Date with clarity, move with intention, choose with confidence, and we look forward to continuing to help you love intentionally, heal completely, and date differently. See you next week.